Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Transnation Formula One racing this weekend. We are here at Spa, or Belgium, for the Belgian Grand Prix. Got 10 drivers this morning, a lot lower than what we were expecting, but yeah, a couple people have left or have been demoted to the lower league or the lower tiers, so that's why we are missing a few this morning. But yeah, Spa-Francorchamps, one of the best racetracks on the calendar for me. Might be for a few of these drivers as well. Definitely one of the most iconic racetracks in the world. And we have 18 minutes of qualifying in store for us, and it is sunny and dry for qualifying. Don't know entirely what it would be for the race. We saw last weekend Owen Bennett take out another race win after going on another winning. Actually, no, he didn't take a race win. Ethan Lossing got the race win last weekend at Hungary in Budapest, the Hungaroring. So he ended Owen's winning streak of around 4 races in a row. So he'll be having a fresh mind this weekend, coming out to try and get another race win in the bag. Trying to chase down the championship leader Albert, who is around 34 points ahead of Owen in the Drivers' Championship. We got a couple of drivers coming out on track already. We got a new driver of Mr. Sanders in driving the Alfa Romeo, who's replaced Mark and Adam, who have been demoted to F4. So he's going to be driving the Alfa Romeo. I'm not entirely sure what his name is. I'm just going to ask Brett real quick. But I'll get back to you on that one. Just do this real quick. Right, so we got, who we got up first? Looks like we got March out first. So he had a very good result last weekend, finishing P4 at the Hungaroring. So a very good result there for him, for the Ferrari boys. Yeah, definitely confidence booster for him, coming out in the hard compound. So the strategy around here is softs to mediums, because the deck is lower than most other tracks on the calendar. But if you do qualify on the mediums, you'll have a quicker tire at the end of the race with a lighter car. So depends whether you get held up by traffic or held up by other cars. So yeah. So actually no, we've got Owen Bennett is actually out first. So he's coming through the back straight, coming up to the bus stop chicane. So he's going to start a flying lap in his Williams. So we'll go on board with Owen as he opens the DRS and comes across the line to start his first flying lap of the session into turn 1, braking around 120 metres out, or just before the 100 metre board. Clips the inside curve quite nicely, and then run up to a Rouge, flat out through a Rouge, and then up to Radion. Easy flat out, and then the DRS straight down at the Kemmel, then the DRS down the Kemmel straight for the long run up past this first sector split. He does a 29.8 in the first sector split. Got to take these curbs quite nicely to get a good trajectory into this corner here. If you get a good trajectory out of it, then you can gain quite a bit of time. Coming into one of the most difficult braking zones on the track, it's quite easy to lock up the front right if you're not using ABS. You can just fling it into this corner here, the no name, and then run up to Pouhon. Use the curb on the outside, quick downshift, and then back on the throttle as soon as you can. It takes inside line quite nicely. Just going through this second sector right, going to the right and then the left, touches the curb, runs out nicely wide. Comes up to this awkward curb that is actually a lot different to other curbs on the track. And then flat out through the end of the second sector, and then the long run down the back straight to the bus stop chicane. Easy flat out here, and then the run up to the bus stop, braking just before the 100. Take the nice inside curve quite nicely. Oh, we've got the revving glitch, but he's going to come across the line, open the DRS, and does a 43.7. So opening banker time is a 43.7 on soft compound. Who else is next on the flyer? So we got Amar, who's actually going P1 with a 43.6. So he jumps ahead of Owen by around over around a tenth and a half of a second, or tenth and a half. March goes P3 with a 47.2 on the medium compound. Harrison coming through Pillon now. Very quick through Pillon, chucks the car in and it's responding. Very tight line there through that corner. Take it out quite wide. Don't tend to get validations there, but without going really wide. Melvin goes P3 with a 45.4. As we watch Harrison come down the back straight, coming up to the bus stop chicane, probably the hardest braking zone on the track. Merrill goes P3 with a 45.3 on the medium compound. As we go through the bus stop chicane now. And what was Harrison do? He does a 43.5, so a very good lap there from Harrison. Jumps Amar by around a half tenth. Alright, so Merrill's actually retired from the session. Now, where has he done that? Sector 1, Sector 2. So that'll be at the sector split. We'll just go on board here with Harrison as we go down the Kimmel Straight. And where is his car? Oh yeah, his car is just before the end, just before the sector split. So Muriel's out of qualifying already, so he'll be starting on the mediums. Since there is only 10 drivers, you won't get the option to get the freshest set if you're outside the top 10. Mr. Sanders has gone P4 with a 44.7. So a good start there from the Alfa Romeo driver, and good start for his F2 debut. We saw a very exciting race here, or you can see we've seen very exciting races here in the past. We saw F1 where transitioned from dry to wet. We saw John Lindbergh take out that race win last season, and then who won last season F2? I actually can't remember. But it can this track can provide some very good racing. If you want to go back and look at those races, then feel free to do so. As we're watching Albert, who's on the hards, getting a bit tail happy, coming through this middle sector, and he comes through No Name. Takes a lot of grass there, goes very wide, nearly actually clips the barrier. And he's actually got a driver in front of him, of H-Flash, who's on the softs in the Haas. So Albert, if he's lucky, might get a little bit of a toe down this back straight. Actually, no, I'm stupid, because this is an in-lap. He's not using any ARS. So we'll go with H-Flash. The really only Haas driver in F2. Carrying this team. As he comes building up to 320 kilometers an hour. Down the back straight. Spa being one of those low downforce circuits, so you'll definitely be seeing a high top speed down the straights. Runs a little bit deeper to the bus stop actually, and opens the DRS, and it won't be a really registered time, but he does a 48.0 on the softs, so around 5 seconds off the pace, or just around 4.5 seconds off the pace compared to everybody else. Now Albert's coming to the pits, so he hasn't actually set a lap time yet. If you don't know, but his championship rival from basically the whole season, Roman Kreft, who's actually opted to leave the F2 category and focus more on the regionals. Luck wasn't really falling his way. and he's opted to focus more on regionals than the nationals. So, but sad to see him go. But he wants to do that. He can do that if he wants. Yeah, if you didn't see the regional race yesterday, it was quite exciting. The Oceania I won the Oceania, and then it was Todster and then Bailey Ford rounded off the top 3, and then the US regionals we had Ethan Lossinger, who actually won it, who's in the F2 category but is not here this morning. He won the F2 regional race. This is at Monaco, and then it was actually Mr. Sanders who came in P4, and then Matthew Elliott who finished the podium. Not entirely sure who won the Europe regional race, but if you want to know who won that, you could definitely go check it out, the stream, which is on the channel. You've got a Marseille, another flying lap on the softs, driving a Renault with a very nice or very bright pink helmet in the Renault as he makes his way up to a Rouge. Up to Radion. That's Radion actually. Probably one of the biggest memes of F1. There's yellow flag in sector 3. And now who was that? I think it might have been people letting each other pass, but Mr. Sanders coming out of the pit lane. Matthew, who he got a podium in, I think it was, yeah, he got a podium in Germany, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got a podium in Germany. I mean, he got a podium in the last 3 races. I'm not just entirely sure which one it was. But yeah, good form from him the past few weeks. Last season he actually got P4 here at Spa. He was driving the Renault. His teammate Joseph, who is in F3, those two got a P3 and P4 for the Renaults last season. In a wet race, I'm pretty sure, or it was, I don't know, probably, I think it was wet, actually, no, dry, oh well, who knows. But yeah, pretty eventful race last season, as he comes down the Kimmel Straight in the Red Bull. If this was realistic cars, you wouldn't see the Red Bull too fancy in a straight line, but since it's Eagle cars, doesn't really matter. But Amar goes to the top with a 43.3, so he jumps Harrison by around 0.2 of a second. So that Harrison's coming down the back straight, coming up to the bus stop, hard braking into the chicane. He's coming into the pits, so he's backed out of his lap, and he'll be coming in to chuck on a fresh set of softs. Mr. Sanders is going to start a flying lap in his Alfa Romeo, number 15 Alfa Romeo, running the eSports helmet, looks like. Yeah, running the eSports helmet, so coming into turn 1. You've seen a lot of carnage there at turn 1 for the past 3 years in real life and in the eSports. Obviously this year, in real life, we saw Max Verstappen go on the inside of Kimi Raikkonen, completely losing his, completely snapping his, or damaging his front suspension arms, going up through a Rouge. He just didn't have any turning, smacked it into the wall, and that was the end of his race. So people do tend to get very greedy at turn 1 of Belgium, since it is quite a tight corner. A hairpin at turn 1 actually. Yeah, so people need to be a bit more cautious than what we've seen in the past to not cause any collisions, but that's part of racing, and we love to see it. So as we come through Pelham now with Mr. Sanders, I'm going to continue to say Mr. Sanders until I know his actual name, so I apologise for that for the time being. So in the regional US Canadian regionals, he's been very quick there. He's been dominated Spain. He drives a Renault, and he got P2 yesterday for the Renault boys. Very couple incidents may have interrupted his progress to win the race. but he still managed to claw back a P2 finish as he comes across the line to set a... Oh, he's actually hasn't improved on his lap time, so the top 5 all on softs, the top 6 from position 6 to position 10 all on medium compound. So these guys will be looking to have a quicker tyre at the end of the race with a lighter car. So Matthew coming out of the pits. Albert is going to start a flying lap, coming through the bus stop now with 3 minutes to go on the session. I remember there's around a 30-second delay on the timer at the top left corner above all the drivers' names. So around 3 minutes 30 seconds left in the session as Albert comes to turn 1 and is going flat out up to a Rouge. Very nice shot there of the cars going up through a Rouge, up to Radion, coming down the Kemmel Straight. This year they've actually, the DRS Straight's a lot further back than what it was last year, around another 100 metres or so, or around 50 to 100 metres they've pulled it back by. So we're getting that extra straight line speed. Oh, he goes very wide and actually clips the little gravel strip on the exit of the corner. Come up to No Name, you can chuck it in and take quite a bit of curb on the outside. Nearly brushes the wall there actually, coming through Pilon. It's really crucial to get the power down as soon as you can without extending the track. Coming through the right and then the left of this middle sector, coming up to the last middle sector corner, and he has done a 16.2 through the middle sector. Well, he's 1:16.2. It didn't show his split because he hasn't set a lap yet. Coming down the back straight now to the roar of the Mercedes engine coming down into the bus stop chicane. It's quite tricky to get the power down here because if you don't have enough downforce on the rear can actually jump out from you as he goes P5 with a 44.5. So he's the top of the soft runners. Goes ahead of Melvin, who's on the softs, who's actually coming through the middle sector now. March is on an outlap. Now, who was that on a... that was Matthew Coiler. Sector 3 yellow flags. That will be leading people through, I'm guessing, yep. So H-Flash starts a flying lap in the halves. And then March follows him on the mediums. Matthews coming through this middle sector now. Sector 1 yellow flag. Oh, H-Flash is actually retired from the session after just starting his lap. I think he might have dropped it through a Rouge. No, his car just pulled out of turn 1. Looks like he just might have retired the car. So Owen Bennett comes and starts his flying lap. So he's running up through a Rouge. Harrison Saunders out. Actually, no, Harrison won't make it to the checkered flag. Actually, no, he will, because there will be a 30-second time delay. So he'll have plenty of time to get to the start-finish line to start another flying lap. Amar's just come up through a Rouge, going through Radion down the Kemmel Straight. We've seen Amar, some tracks he's really struggled, but on some tracks he's really dominated. So one of those being Britain, but he unfortunately crashed out there at his home race. Monaco, I think Monaco was one of the races he dominated as well. But yeah, like some tracks he isn't the finest at, but some tracks he's just absolutely dominating at. Checkered flag for Mr. Sanders and Albert. Mr. Sanders improves, I think, by a couple tenths. Owen, who's a tenth down on his lap, coming down the back straight for the run up to the bus stop chicane. So can he find over a tenth? Can he find a tenth coming through this bus stop to try and pit Harrison for P2 on the grid? He's very tidy through there. He does a 43.8, sorry, so he doesn't improve on his lap time. Oh, Harrison's actually dropped it out of Puon, so he won't be able to do a better lap, so he's going to have no front wing. Amar improves with a 42.9. A very, very good lap there from Amar. The first man to the 42s. Melvin is coming through the bus stop chicane now. What can Melvin do? Can he pip Albert? No, he can't pip Albert, so he's going to start P6 on the grid. So that is your qualifying. So Amar takes a very demanding pole position by over 6/10 of a second over the rest of the field. 6.5 tenths exactly. 6.5 tenths over a second over the field. Albert actually qualifying ahead of Melvin on the mediums by around 4/10 of a second. So I've just got information from Brett that Mr. Sanders' name is Sam Rocco. So Mr. Sanders or Sam, we can now call you by your official name. So Sam Rocco in P4 with a 44.2. Alfa Romeo get the second row alongside Owen Bennett, who starts P3 on the grid, as we're going to load up into the race. 10 drivers, front pack starting on the softs, the rest, or the front 5 basically starting on the softs, and then the rear starting on the mediums. So it'll be interesting to see which strategy is going to come out best. So the strategy is, or default strategy is, softs to mediums, and those other guys are probably looking to go mediums to softs. As we wait for them to get their strategies done, it is a clear race, but it is quite overcast, and don't expect with these conditions you could expect to see a little bit of rain, considering how dark it is at Spa, as we are going to actually go on this formation lap. So I'll run through the starting grid for the Belgian Grand Prix. On pole position with a blistering lap time, first man to the 42s, it is Amar Singh. In P2 we've got Harrison Colville, around 6/10 of a second behind the pole sitter. And the Toro Rosso, Owen Bennett didn't quite find the pace in qualifying, but hopefully he'll look to find that in the race. P4 we have Sam Rocco, who's actually lost the position in the formation lap, so he's going to start P4 in the Alfa Romeo. And P5 we've got Albert, the first man on the medium compound, so he's going to start P5. P6 we got Melvin Stabaka, behind Albert on the soft compound tyre, so he's in a medium compound sandwich. P7 we got Amir Azriaf and the McLaren, so he's going to start mediums as well, so he'll be looking to go long in the number 9 McLaren. P8 we've got Matthew Coiler in the Red Bull 47 Red Bull Racing Honda, so he's going to start P8. P9 we've got Mark Trisandi in the Ferrari, also on the mediums, and P10 who rounds off the grid we've got H Flash, who's on the mediums as well. So that is your starting grid for the Belgian Grand Prix. Going to be a very long formation lap here because it is the longest track on the calendar, as they round these final couple of corners of this middle sector. Big long run up to the bus stop chicane. They'll be weaving to get those tyres up to temp, and obviously under these overcast conditions it'll be a little bit harder to get the tyres up to temp, but won't be too hard at all. It'll just take a little bit longer. As we round this formation lap. For the Belgian Grand Prix. A little bit of ghosting there, but as we come up to the grid slots. We wait for the rest of the field to get in the grid slots. And we're going to build up to the 5 red lights. We're going to wait again. He's building the revs. It's lights out and away we go. Harrison Cole has actually got a very nice start. He's coming alongside down into turn 1. Oh, he's got a little bit of an incident there. Jumping around, there's a bit of a squibbling and squabbling at the back of the field. But Harrison has jumped Amar coming up to Eau Rouge. The tow will be insane as Owen's actually jumped Amar as well. There's a massive tow coming here, thumbing down the Kimmel Straight. Owen has got a very nice tow here on Harrison, which is actually keeping ahead of Amar Singh in P3. Albert has made up a place, come up to P4. Merrill from P7 on the grid is now in P5, but Sam Rako down in P9 has had a horrific start. He hasn't got any wing damage, but a clean start so far. As H-Flash actually runs quite wide before No Name. Coming through Pullon, flat out. Owen Bennett on the chase, try and catch Harrison. Merrill already gets a 3-second time penalty, so very quick on the first lap there from Merrill. But you'll see these soft runners start to run away a little bit here at the start, but then you'll start to see the medium compound tyre start to come into life within these next few laps. The pit window I think is around lap 5 or lap 6 for the softs, and then you can take the medium compound to the end. So Amar Singh 4/10 of a second behind Owen, and then Owen 5/10 behind Harrison as we end lap 1 of the Belgian Grand Prix. Harrison does a 50.6 to get fastest lap on the first lap, but obviously that will be quicker. But these position 2 and 3 will have a massive tow coming down to the Kimmel Straight, going up through Eau Rouge. We look back at the field. Sam is looking to get within striking distance. Oh, Merrill's actually lost it at the top of Eau Rouge, and he is out of the race. So you see Sam going around the outside here of Mark into turn, don't know what turn that is. Turn 5, I don't know, whatever, who cares. But yeah, the top 3, Albert doing a very good job there to stay within, or to keep with these top 3, only a second behind on the medium, so this could be looking quite nice here for Albert if he manages to keep up with, or keep pace with these guys. As we are on lap 2, Sam is still trying to look for a way to get past Matthew here. March is only is actually might look for a striking distance here of Sam as well. H Flash falling a little bit back after the start. Let me just check his real name real quick, because I hate calling people by their real name or the PSN. Let me check this real quick. Jan, so Jan is H Flash. Sorry for that, Jan. We'll call you Jan from now on. Harrison does a 47.6. Gap is just under a second as we come up to Eau Rouge for the third lap of this race. Only 22 laps in this race, considering it is a very, very long lap, around 7 kilometers or nearly 5 miles long. But we'll look at Sam, who's getting on the back here of Matthew, and we'll have DRS coming down the Kimmel Straight. He's going to pull to the left hand side, and he's going zooming past the Red Bull of Matthew, so that's him up into P6, and March will be looking to get in this as well. So he's not too far back behind Matthew, only around half a second. Amar still keeping his distance within Owen, only 6/10. Harrison's actually breaking out the DRS. 1.2 seconds now, the gap between Harrison and the rest of the field. And Owen, actually, I should say. 1.3 as I say that. The field's starting to spread out a little bit now. Only one gap under a second, which is Amar and Owen. So we'll go on board with these guys. He will have DRS. Oh, gets a little bit wobbly on the exit of that corner. He will have DRS. We can actually see he'll have a lot more. He'll have some more Australian speed. Looks like Owen. They're pretty even on Australian speed. The Owen and Amar. As we come through the bus stop. So Al still doing a very good job to stay with these guys. Considering he's on the mediums and the tyre deck is the average tyre, the time or the average time between the mediums and the softs is around 0.6 of a second. He's fallen 1.8 behind. Still doing a very good job. Sam Rocco is actually going to have a go here at Melbourne for P5. He's going to have DRS coming down this Kemmel Straight. Amar tries to tuck in to get some more toe, but the Australian speed of the Alpha just too much for the Red Bull Honda. So that's Sam up into P5. Albert gets a 3-second time penalty. First of the race. Of course, Amir got the one on lap 1, but he's out of the race. Oh, looks like Owen actually might have a little bit of a mistake, because Amar 0.3 of a second behind now. Coming through Pillon. Form 1.5 seconds behind Harrison already. So Harrison already out of DRS. As they come through this middle sector. Amar will be looking to have a go. Maybe have a go here up into the bus stop chicane, or down the Kemmel Straight on the next lap. We'll jump on board with him. He is getting a tow. Not burning much ERS at all. Oh Jesus, Owen burning a lot of his ERS. He's only on 10%. Amar on 70. He's comfortably 80%. Oh, we've got Melbourne, who's actually crashed out of the race. So Melbourne's out. We've got 2 retirees out on lap, or before lap, or on lap 4. We've got 2 people out of the race already. But we'll watch this battle here for P2 as we come up to the Kemmel Straight and Arouge. He's top, position 2 and 3, gained a little bit of time here in Harrison. Oh Jesus, getting a bit pear shaped there from Ma, but he's going to have the run here with DRS. He's going to pull the left hand side, and he has done the move before the braking zone. Excuse me. So that is Amar up into P2, Owen down into P3, and Harrison pulling out this lead to 1.4 seconds. So he's pulled out another couple of tenths. So out of DRS, Amar out of DRS range of Harrison. So Amar, we need to be clawing in that gap. Harrison's actually building quite a bit of airs on 35% coming through Pill on lap 5. Amar quite comfortably on 80% still, so he will have the amount of ERS to push to try and pull that gap down for the lead of the race. So Albert 2.7 off on lap 5. Matthew Coyler, 1.2 seconds behind March. He's actually gotten past Matthew at some point, which we haven't seen. Melbourne's left the session, so Matthew will be looking to get that position back over the Ferrari. We've seen the Ferrari and the Red Bull battle in real life, but not at Spa. The pace difference between the Ferrari and the Red Bull is quite significant, actually, around over a second or something, due to the sheer straight line speed of that Ferrari. So this morning we actually saw the qualifying for F1. So we saw Max Verstappen actually got pole position, ahead of Charles Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel, which is good. Ahead of both Mercedes. Then it was Hamilton and then Bottas who shunted it at the end of qualifying, the last corner. So that will be the grid for Mexican Grand Prix. Albon actually starts in the pit lane for a chassis change for a crash in practice. So he'll start from pit lane. And obviously we had the Red Bull Cup on last start as well, which was depressing to watch, not gonna lie. But we'll move on from that. So Amar pulling in that gap now to Harrison, around 1 second, so just out of DRS range of Harrison. He's pulling away from Owen here, 1.1 seconds. So Owen's already out of DRS range of Amar. Look at, he's just trying to keep up with him, squeezing all the airs he can. He's only on 5%, but if I was Owen, I'd be saving all that airs and then going on attack later on. So that is the biggest gap, or the smallest gap we've got now, is Owen and Amar. So the top three starting to run away here from Albert. As the run up to Rouge we come, on board with the Williams. We saw a very eventful race in real life F1. Charles Leclerc taking his first race win of his F1 career. And obviously, actually no, I shouldn't bring that up actually, but we'll keep that for later. Gap under a second now to Harrison. So Amar really clawing him in. So the pit window will be opening in the next few laps for the soft runners. I forgot what lap it is actually for the pit window, but I expected it to be soon. Now let's check the dig on these tyres. So you can sort of start to see the dig line on the front left of Harrison's tyre. You can just start to see the transition from light to dark on the tyre, and that's when you can tell the wear on the tyre is getting quite high. So expect these guys to come in within these next few laps, with Albert quite comfortably just cruising on these mediums, but Amar is going to have DRS on the start-finish straight. It's a good job there from Amar to reel in Harrison. Owen actually blinks first, comes into the pits, and what tyre will it be for Owen? I expected it to be the medium compound. If it is the hard, we've seen him do that in the past, go on the hard compound, even though you don't need to. So Williams pit crew out with the medium compound. Quick tyre change for Owen, and he's coming out. As we've seen in real life, the Williams pit crew, the best in the business when it comes to pit stops. Not so in this game, all even. So these guys are going to be blinking. These guys will need to be blinking within the next couple of laps if they want to stay ahead of Owen, because he will have a undercut. I'm not entirely sure how significant the undercut is here. I'm expected to be mediocre as they come through Pillon. Owen behind March here. As the run up to Pillon, I'm just going to check all these YouTube comments because we've got 6 and I haven't checked any. So we'll check these. Amar only 3/10 behind now. Where is it? Right, Harry, thank you, Harry. He says automated strategy says pit lap 8 to 9, so we should see them in the pit soon. So thanks for that, Harry. So we've actually come on lap 9 now. Harrison is blinked. So Harrison is already in the pit lane. Torosso crew coming out with the meeting compound tyre. So here, that will be his last stop of the race, and his only stop of the race. Owen, actually, no, Sam comes to the pits. He'll chuck on meetings as well. Owen doesn't get the jump on Harrison. He's actually lost quite a bit of time. 2.4 seconds is the gap between those two. But Amar will need to be pushing now if he wants to get any hope of staying here ahead of Harrison. So I'm just going to give you an update on F3. Leprovic is leading with a wet race. Cruel Edo P2, Jaden Shack in P3, Brett Keenan down in P10, Mark Bradbury down in P12, so it's a wet race for them. They tend to get quite a bit of wet races, the F3 category, I've noticed. Not here at F2, we always get dry races here in F2. So as Amal is coming down to the bus stop chicane, we'd expect him to come into the pits. So Jan is is very close here to Sam. Will Amar blink? Yeah, Amar's going to blink, so he's going to come to the pits. The pit entry there at Spa is quite narrow, so it is easy to bump your front wing on the entry to the pit lane. Albert doesn't stays out, so where is Harrison? What? So for that, so yeah, Harrison stays ahead of Amar. So what will this gap be? 1.5 seconds. So Harrison's gained around a second on that. On just pitting a lap earlier, is gaining around. Actually, gap's going up 1.5 seconds. Yeah, so just 2 seconds now. So 1.5 seconds he's made. Owen is 1.7 behind Amar. So he hasn't really made or lost any time on him. As we are on lap 10 of 22, 12 laps to go here at Spa. No big battles going here at the moment. Also, I should mention, if any of you are watching and are not in the TNF1 community and would like to commentate a category, we do need a commentator for the regionals for Oceania. So if any of you would like to commentate for Oceania regionals, then DM Brett Keenan on PlayStation or on Discord if you're in the league already. So yeah, feel free to ask about that. I'm sure he'll let you commentate, because we do need a commentator. We didn't get it streamed on Friday night due to not having a commentator. So if you guys would like a commentating gig, that would be very helpful. So aside from that, lap 11, so we're already 50% through this race. March blinks into the pits on lap 11 to come on the hards, which is surprising actually. You expect him to pull out the mediums a bit longer, go on the softs at the end. But no, he's opted to go on hards, which is very surprising actually. The hards are not a very good tyre around here, but that's a thing that he's going to have to put up with. It's 2.2 seconds now, the gap to Harrison, and then around 9.7 seconds to Albert, who's out leading, coming through Pilon. Sam Rocco, closest gap we've got now, 6/10 behind behind Matthew Coiler. He may have actually had a little bit of a mistake. He's actually going to let him pass into Puon. So that is position for there for Sam. Not really any battles going on now. I mean, the closest gap we've got is 1.8 seconds to Harrison. Pulled in another couple tenths there on Harrison. 9.5 seconds now, the gap between Harrison and Albert. So it is slowly pulling him in. Don't actually know what the pit transit is here. I expect it to be quite. I expect it to be around 20 seconds. I'm guessing. The pit transit. I mean, considering it is a very large track, it don't have an entirely big pit lane, so pit transit not the longest or not the shortest. So I think the shortest is Monaco. It's like 15 seconds or something. Go into the pits, stop, get your tyre change, and then right back out the pits again is around 15 seconds. Harrison pulled out another couple tenths here on Amar. So Amar will be looking to. He might actually be conserving his tyres a little bit, and then go for one big push at the end, coming up to the end of the race, where he'll have more fresher rubber than Harrison, instead of pushing this whole time. Oh my god, go away Siri, no one likes you. But I wasn't losing a little bit of time there to these two he's fighting with, in the Rocket Williams, which is not actually a rocket. It's more like a transit van, more than anything else. But in real life, that's what it is to me. So the rear pack quite spread out. 6 seconds ahead of March is Jan, who is 6 seconds behind Matthew. Armada's fastest lap of the race, the 47.6. We're actually going to check these fastest laps now. Yeah, so 40, very close there between Harrison and Amar. 5 milliseconds, the gap with fastest lap. So the top 4 all in the 47s, and then the rest of the field in the 48s and higher. So so who do they get to the leader? March 39 seconds behind Albert, who's yet to stop. So we'll get that sorted. So yeah, Amar is going to pull on Harrison on lap 13 and 22. So Spa is the lowest amount of laps in a race, but it is the longest. So saying that it is a longer lap, you would need fewer laps to do the race. Because I think the real life, for the race is over 2 hours, then you have to stop the race, the 2 hour mark. Now I think the race around here is like an hour 40 minutes or something like that, or an hour 30. Albert blinks, so he's in the pits. He's going to go on the soft compound to the end of the race. So Amar takes another fast lap of the race with a 47.3. Really starting to push now, reeling in Harrison. Yeah, so Albert comes out of the pits in P4. 3, I'm just going to wait for that, because the gap will jump up. Yeah, 4.5. So we're actually going to check the lap to the leader. So he's got to catch around 10 seconds to the leader. Matthew and Jan come into the pits, chucking on the soft compound tyre. Matthew on the softs as well. Yeah, so gap around 9.5 seconds to the leader. We just have to wait and see whether Albert can reel him in. Yeah, so Ma, they're starting to push now. Owen, very low on airs. Could start, well, needs to start considering saving that. If he wants to go for a push. So Amar 1.1 behind Harrison now, just out of DRS range by around 0.2 or 0.1 as I say that. So good stuff here from Amar now. Harrison not very burning his DRS on around 40%. 1.1 coming up to Arouge on lap 15. 1.2 seconds now the gap. So will Amar be able to take his first race win of the season? Obviously you saw him last season dominate so... You saw him dominate so... His domination last season was unreal. I mean, he won basically every single race he did for like the first 3 quarters of the season, where he eventually, actually, Brett pushed him up into F1, considering or saying he was too quick. So he made his F1 debut here at Spa last season. So good special place here for Amar making his F1 debut. Yeah. The domination from Amar last season was unreal. In F2, won basically every single race he partook in F2. But the 2019 game hasn't been as rewarding as it has been for 2018. But like, see some tracks, this track he's very quick at, but some other tracks he's just not up to scratch with. And I think next season we are opening up a F5 category. So if you're watching and you want to race in the TNF1, you can contact Brett Keenan if you wish to partake in racing for next season. Or now actually, we've got some spots open in F1 if you run fully no assists, which means no racing line, no everything. F2 we're going to be restricting to just racing line next season. So we'll see some drivers going back into lower categories and some drivers coming up. I'm guessing, and we've actually, I think some drivers from F1 going down to F2 as well, due to the racing line. So, fully no assists for F1, just racing line for F2 next season, and then the other assists we allow, or other tiers we allow full assists. So F3, F4, and F5 will be allowed full assists from next season, just like this season. But this season we allow no assists for F1 and then all assists for F2. But yeah, restricting that next season. But yeah, if you wish to, if you want to race in the TNF1, feel free to contact us. If you want to race or commentate, like I said in earlier, if you want to commentate for regionals, as I've been talking, Albert is pulled in Owen 2/10 now, the gap. He's actually going to have a move here coming into the bus stop. Hard braking into the bus stop. All brakes very late there compared to Owen, and he gets the move done already. So Albert is on a charge, ladies and gentlemen. I should use that quote. That's Mark Bradbury's quote. But Owen will have DRS down the Kimmel Straight, and the slipstream is quite lethal as well. through Rouge and up the Kimmel Straight. We got 5 laps left to go of the Belgian Grand Prix. Owen's going to have DRS here on Albert. Will Albert defend the position? Yeah, he's going to go he's going to go defensive and to down the Kimmel Straight. Around the outside, Albert tries to stick around the outside. Oh, we've got Owen who's spun out, who's made contact with Albert and has spun. And I'd expect there'd be an assurance inquiry over that one. Amar 5/10 behind Harrison, so Amar's reeled in Harrison for under a second now. So the racing's starting to come as the laps start to close down. 5 laps to go here in Spa. Albert's got a 6-second gap to Amar. He's reeled that gap from around 9.5 seconds to 6.4 seconds. So he's going around 3 seconds of time to Harrison. March not too far back here from Matthew either. 1.6 seconds separate those two, down for position 6. Jan 10.5 seconds behind March. Actually, Sam Racco not too far off Owen here, only 2.7 seconds behind. I mean, Sam could actually get Owen here if he pushes, because Owen has got basically no ERS. 37 to 22. This gap for the lead. Can Harrison get his first win of the season? He didn't race last weekend. He raced in Britain. He didn't race. He raced in Germany. He didn't race in Britain. He raced in Britain. Got a podium there on his debut in this season. In F2. And he is just trying to hold off Amar here for the race win. And I'm actually going to check the penalties real quick. Penalties. So Harrison he's only got 1 warning. Amar's got 2 warnings. Albert's got a penalty. So added around another 3 seconds of 3 seconds on that gap to Amar. So around 9 seconds still for Albert to catch. Or to get ahead, or 5.6 seconds to get to them, but then we have to pull out another 3 seconds to keep that position with the time penalty. About the DRS. Will we see Amar to make a move here with the DRS? He's chucked it up into overtake. He's going to add DRS. He's gaining. He's not close enough though. You can see Harrison harvesting there for Urs. As we come through No Name on lap 19 of 22, so 3 laps here to go. But we don't know who's going to come out victorious here. It will be Harrison or Amar. See Harrison just harvesting through that whole entire middle sector. So Harrison's beginning to save hers. Well, look how much Urs that Mars got. He's got 80%. So he's been saving it, ready for the attack. Actually, will we see a move here in the bus stop? Oh, getting very close there to Harrison in the braking zone. Well, Harrison gets a little bit squirmish on the exit of the last corner as we begin lap 20. Glowing brake disc there on the Renault. But surely Amar's a lot closer this lap to what he was last lap to try and make a move. Oh, there's a yellow flag in Sector 2, Sector 3. And who was that? Who was that? I have no idea who that is. Oh, Harrison and Amar going wheel to wheel. But Harrison stays ahead. On lap 20. Amar will surely start to push will start to use all of his ERS very soon. As the middle sector become, Harrison saving his airs, or recharging his battery, getting ready for the attack from Amar, or getting very close there as Amar, 10th of a second. Yeah, looks like Amar's gonna try and have a go here. He's put it up into overtake. Oh no, actually Amar's keeping him behind. You can see on the bottom right corner, he's trying to go on the outside into the bus stop chicane. Wheel to wheel they go. Harrison tries to keep around the outside, but that job done for Amar. And Harrison will have to try and have a go here out of the on the Kimmel Straight as we come onto the penultimate lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. Harrison will have DRS here on Amar. He's put it up into overtake. Amar's weaving down the Kimmel Straight, which is not allowed. But Amar's going to break deeper. Oh! There's contact and Amar's been spun. Amar has been spun and that has let Albert come up into P2. There's a lot of contact there. Amar tried to go down the inside. Ran a bit deep and then Harrison was just there and he couldn't really do much. We got a nice helicopter shot of it there actually. And now Albert is within striking distance of the lead of the race. So the tables have turned. Albert could win this race if Harrison gets a penalty or if he gets past and pulls out 3 seconds. So at the moment it's looking nice for Harrison. Unlucky for Amar. I don't know whose fault that was, but Harrison nearly loses it with the rear end. Albert's going to have a go here. Down the back straight. Going side by side. Oh, it gets hit! And Albert has been spun! Contact there from the leader. Contact there from Harrison and Albert. And Albert has been spun into the fence. He's got no front wing. There'll be a lot of insurance inquiries about this now. But Harrison has got 4.1 seconds. And that is Sam Rocco who's jumped Albert for P4. Owen is back up into the podium position. After not looking like he'd get one, is back up into P3. So a turn of events here from the last 2 laps. Or that lap 20 in general, lap 21 final to a lap was hectic. Amar getting spun, Albert crashing out. Mark gets a 3-second time penalty. There is a 30.2 second gap between Albert and Matthew. And I wouldn't expect him to claw that in this last lap. So very unlucky there for Albert. He would have got a P2 finish if that didn't happen. Very unlucky there for the Mercedes driver. But watch Harrison. Does Harrison have damage? No, Harrison doesn't have damage. I'm just saying Amar's gaining quite a lot here. on Harrison. Harrison coming down the back straight for the very last time. But Harrison comes down to the final braking zone of the race, rounds the final corner, and comes across the line. Oh, he's actually getting up to position. What is this? Very good sportsmanship there from Harrison. He's let Amar go from the contact, so Amar actually wins the Belgian Grand Prix. But Harrison, very generous there with the sportsmanship, lets him past. But Albert limping home for a P5. Matthew Coyler will come home in P6, followed by March, and then Jan in the Haas will come home in P8. So very unfortunate there, but we'll invite the top 3 in to the party, and we'll get their thoughts on the race. Where are they? Where are they? So good sportsmanship there from Harrison. Thinking that was his fault. Opted to let him pass at the last on the line. So Amar wins the Belgian Grand Prix. First win of the season for him. So the Renault gets a taste of victory here in F2. So we got Amar Singh in the party. Let me see if I've got him muted. So we don't have him unmuted. Muted. So we'll start with Amar. Congratulations on your win. Contact there with Harrison on the penultimate lap. Made you go into a spin, but surprisingly he let you past on the last corner on the last lap. So and yeah, pretty good battle there between the top 3. And you and Harrison. So yeah, congratulations on your race win, first of the season. So your thoughts on the race?
Yeah, thanks. A very intense race for me. Every lap was just trying to make it faster. The contact, I don't know what happened there. I mean, I appreciate the fact that he let me pass at the end, but I probably would have just taken the win if I was in his position. So yeah. Can appreciate that quite a lot.
Surprising sportsmanship from him. But congratulations on your first race win of the season. Well deserved. Even though after the spin you were definitely putting the pressure on Harrison for most of the race. So congratulations to you. We'll go to Harrison. Contact with Amar on the penultimate lap. Upset his chances of winning the race, but the pressure. You handled the pressure really nicely from Amar for the whole race, and good sportsmanship there from you to let him pass to get the race win out of the last corner.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race. I mean, I was just trying to stay out front. I burned pretty much all my ARS right at the start of the race, just trying to get out the DRS of Owen and Amar. But yeah, good little battle at the end. Look, it was probably a 50-50 call on the contact, probably a racing incident, but you know, I don't try and win races on the back of incidents like that. So I think Amar had the pace on me anyway, so I let him through at the end.
Yeah, definitely. Very good battle there from you two. Congratulations on your best finish of the season of P2. Could have been a race win, or should have been a race win, but yeah, good sportsmanship from you. We'll go to Owen is in the party. Yes, Owen is in the party. Owen, a P3 finish from you. Didn't look likely after the contact from or the incident between Harrison and Albert, which caused Albert to go into the fence. But yeah, looked likely from the start of the race. But yeah, just lucky to get that podium at the end.
Yeah, I mean, when Albert was doing an alternate strategy, I knew he was going to catch me towards the end, and we made a little bit of contact. And
oh, that was you.
From then I was just trying to make my way back up, and the objective coming into the race was to beat Albert to catch him in the championship, and that's what's happened. So all in all, it was a good day.
So lucky podium there for you. Congrats on the race win. You extend, or you pull in some more points there on Halbert in the championship. So congratulations on the top 3 on your podium finishes. So that will be our coverage of the Belgian Grand Prix for the F2 category. Make sure join us in around 50 minutes time for the F1 race, which will be covered by Mark Bratby. So yeah, make sure you tune into that. But from now, Josh Banks and the Combox signing out from Spa. Join us next weekend for the Italian Grand Prix.